Well, Jovani, how you been, man? I haven't seen you in a while since the aftermath of New Year's Eve.
Yeah, for real. I've been well. Hold on, let me turn you up here a little bit so I can hear you better. Cool. Uh, I've been well, man. 2022 has been pretty cool so far. How about yourself?
I've been good. I've been good. We survived the aftermath of New Year's Eve and the great spreading of fresh a
Omicron.
fresh start. Yeah, I mean, we definitely rolled the dice on that one, but I'm glad that we all came out unscathed and still alive, right?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this with me today. For everybody who doesn't know, this is my good friend Jovani. He also goes by as just Jovani because it's all you need.
That's right. That's what the doctor recommends. One daily serving.
Yeah, and today we're gonna get to know him a little bit better. This up and coming DJ out in the San Francisco house and techno scene. This is not gonna be a podcast, so it's gonna be an interesting format. Let's see how this goes. And I guess I'm gonna have to start saying this now. If you like the conversation we're having, please like and subscribe if you can, or maybe comment down below. And that being said, Giovanni, please introduce us. Who is just Giovanni?
Interesting question. Interesting question. Um, I mean, pretty much, I would say the most basic things about me is I'm pretty much just a dude from SF, San Francisco specifically. Um, Grew up here, was born in Orange County, brought up here when I was like a month old. Um, as far as like who I am, pretty much I would say the core of me is just a creative person. Uh, I DJ, I produce. Before that, I was playing guitar in a deathcore band. Um, I went to an art high school here for visual art. So pretty much creativity has always been the forefront of my life. Never necessarily been a career before, but with how things have been shaping up, I definitely think it's possible in the near future that music is my career, at least for, a couple of years, who knows, 15, 20, 30. We'll see where the wind takes it. But um, yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. Um, the most basic parts of me, I would say.
Yeah, well, we could definitely get more to the grassroots of Giovanni later. But really, recently, you've been making moves in the current scene. Like I see you've been playing at like Halcyon, F8, Audio, I believe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't live in San Francisco anymore. I just see what is on social media. So,
Yeah, no, not audio, but I played Monarch
mhm.
most recently, made my debut there, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and what kind of music do you play?
Uh,
I know I just said it, but I kind of want to hear it from your voice.
yeah, it's a good question. Like, so I mean, I always go with house techno acid, and that's
In that particular order,
where.
or
No, not per se. I mean, I think like whenever I first started, I tried to follow that order, or at least when I started to identify with that type of sound. But it mostly it's situational, but most recently I found myself playing like one of two or three, maybe four different kinds of sets at clubs. Either it's going to be a house set, which it's going to be a mixture between house, between tech house. Um, Specifically, like the type of tech house that I like to play is more darker, groovier. It's going to have more like rolling basses or bass lines, I should say. Um, good example of these are like if you've ever listened to any of Galia's like old tech house stuff or
Losing
the
It by
stuff
Fisher.
that
I've seen it. Losing It.
yeah, totally. um, not quite, not quite. Um, you know, that's a whole another side of the coin. But yeah, some like, you know, tech house from Galia is definitely within that flavor. Stuff from like Anthony Atla or Attila. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's hella sick. He has like a mixture of like tech house and like tech house that's way more after hours sounding, something like you would hear like 3, 4, 5 a.m. You know, at
Yeah.
some like dingy club. Like,
Oh yeah, we
you
with
know,
anybody who's worked in the service industry or the nightlife, we all know that feeling of
yeah,
pleasure and shame at the same time.
yeah. I mean, we've all been to San Bruno, so you know.
Yeah, whoa. Save some secrets, bro. But after hours was fun, I will, before we move away from this and maybe circle around back if we have time, but if it's 5 o'clock in the morning and your friend turns to you and say, "Leave me, I just want to dance," don't leave him. Take him because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Or else he has to spend a $30 Uber ride in the Uber pool, smelling like cigarettes and booze while everybody else is going to work. Not fun. It, but yeah, okay, after hours, man. But so like,
Yeah.
so you're saying like the music you like, the rolling bass lines, the grooves, that kind of that kind of stuff. I think that perfectly describes your latest track. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah. Yeah. So the track that just came out is titled "It's All the Same." Um, it's like a darker tech house track. It was released on DTL Records. Um, so that track was. So I have like a few tracks that are going to be released this year, and the next one that's going to be released was one of two tracks that I don't know which one came first, to be quite honest, right? The chicken or the egg. I forget which one I actually like made first, but they're two of the oldest songs that I have, basically.
Are these just like a
And
remastered version of those tracks to be released?
no, so what happened was, so I started learning how to produce late 2017, like around November. And so I would start producing um, just something new every day. A lot of the, first couple months, like November, December, I didn't really know like what I was doing. I was just like opening up Ableton and just throwing a whole bunch of random sounds in there, seeing what sounded cool, basically. Um, and then around like 2018, I started early 2018, I started like honing in and actually trying to make some stuff that sounded like halfway decent, basically. This was like just being in Ableton as well as watching tutorials online, talking to friends, things like that. So I had created uh, both these tracks at a certain point. But I could only take them so far because I literally only knew as much as I knew at that point. So, like for instance, like I didn't really know how to make like build-ups or anything like that. Nor did I have like a mature enough ear to like um, think about things like, oh, I should have a little sound here or I should have a reverse crash here to have more of an impact on the drop or to signify a transition to a different section. Or I should do some slight panning, left, right, up and down with the hats to create, movement and they're not static or add swing or this or that or whatever. And so I kind of just let them be basically, and then just continued on like making different tracks. So I mean, you'll even hear it too in my music from my very first track up until my most latest track. The progression in terms of just like the maturity of the song, of the track, what I'm doing in the track with the arrangement, how I'm transitioning between different sections. Are there even sounds that give the cue that I'm gonna do a transition? Um, so, and I'm happy I did that. So essentially, this song is basically just kind of like a culmination of everything that I've learned thus far within production. Um, that's not to say that it's like a huge amount. That's not to say that's like a little amount like either. But I'm definitely like, really proud of it, and I'm happy I waited to release it now versus releasing it back then, just because it wouldn't have been um, as good as I feel it is, as well. Have the maturity in terms of the sounds and kind of the overall tone that I was going for. Um, so yeah, really happy with the way this one turned out.
Yeah. So you said you started learning how to produce in, you said 2017?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the change? Like what was the catalyst for Jovani to become just Jovani? Like what happened within that time frame since then that made you learn all these sounds, or where did you learn and how?
So
Was it like
I
Fisher's
like
masterclass or something?
that's actually what it was. I just graduated his master class. No, like so basically like 2016 went to Lib. That's where I got the name like Just Jovani. My friend Anthony Diamonds, he's the one who gave it to me. We were watching someone and we are having a conversation, and someone was just like asking me about like my DJ name, and at the time I just went by my first and last name, and I'm like, no, it's just Jovani Melendez, and Anthony's like just Jovani, and I'm like, that's a great name. So we did that.
Just call you JJ for short, right?
Yeah, totally. um, so I took that on like as my, okay, this is gonna be my artist persona. And then I started DJing, and this is at a time where like um got like a few gigs here and there, and then 2017 we got monthly in Oakland. And so I was DJing pretty much like at least once a month. Um which like going from like bedroom DJ to like partying to like playing gig like once a month, essentially being like a resident like at like this bar in Oakland. I was like, okay, like this is like pretty cool, right? And then we started getting just like different opportunities to play like different things, um, and I just saw producing as the natural progression, but I didn't want to do it until I was like, okay, like this is like what I want to do, like type of thing, and go like all in with. Um, so once I knew I wanted to go all in with it, and there's not really like a specific like time that I remember or that I can recall to be like, okay, that's when I was like, all right, let's go ahead and do this. Um, I think it was just like 2017, like the end of it. I bought Ableton and I bought my ex DJ, and I think that for me was just kind of just like, okay, I'm going to take this like super seriously now, and try and really like hone my skills on this. Um, and then yeah, just uh, began learning from there. Really.
Hmm, nice. So what, one day you just woke up and you're just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna start producing.
Well, I mean, before that, like I had started taking DJing more seriously, and I wanted to get really good, wanted to get better. Um, and then we were also like throwing events as well. So I think just like being kind of thrown into the industry and seeing what friends were doing, were making, I was just kind of like, I just need to start producing. I need to start making my own music because I know I want to make my own music. I know I can make my own music. I've done it before, different genre, different instrument, but now I have all the instruments and like all the genres, quote unquote. I was like, okay, let's like do this. And I think it was just a matter of just being ready to do it, being ready to pull the trigger. Maybe it was like me being like mentally like taking the time to commit to that. I really didn't want to like spend like hella money on something that I'm just like gonna fuck off with. Um, and two, I just wanted to like know for myself that I'm doing this for myself, that this is like the next eventual step in what I'm trying to do, not something that I'm just kind of latching onto temporarily. So once I knew that, that's when I decided to start producing and learning how to make house music or techno or acid or whatever the hell you want to call it, electronic music. So
Can you give me like, I don't know, your top three biggest find that has helped influence your sound of today?
like in terms of like artist,
Artists, yeah. Like give me some names. Give me like who helped you, who inspired you to make the sounds of It's All the Same.
So I would say like I already mentioned two, one being Galia. Huge artist. She's probably like my favorite all time like favorite like producer and DJ. She's this techno artist out of Bulgaria. She runs a label Set About. Um, and she's just like an amazing artist, super sick DJ. But all of her tracks are like, I'm like, wow, this like when I envision like stuff of making music and like how I kind of wanted like sounds and what I was like what I would go for, like that's what she's making basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now her stuff is techno, and I haven't released anything that's techno yet. Definitely have those in the pipeline for this year for sure. Um, but you know, be that as it may, you could still take the same sounds and apply them to like a tech house groove. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like more of arrangement and how you place things, tempo, BPM, blah blah blah. But anyways, she definitely creates like a lot of the different type of like dark and like 303 acid sounds that I like and that I'm trying to emulate. Another one is Anthony Atla. Um, his tracks are just sick, like dark tech house, rolling bass. Drums are like they're loud and he doesn't choke up on the hi-hat. He really actually lets like the open hat like breathe and be like an open hi-hat versus like a lot of producers today just like choke up on it and that's like
Like that.
their yeah, like it just sounds like more in line with like what a real drum kit sounds like, you know.
Mm.
um and it's like um that's what I'm used to is like
Because you came from a background of live music.
right, exactly. So to me, like when you choke up on like the open hi-hat, you're like, okay, well now you have like a close hat, but you just lose so much groove and energy and life to the track, in my opinion. And you know, I just like hearing that full like sounding hi-hat, because it's sick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah, and I feel like only in a good house set you would hear 6 minutes of a track, right? And not the 2.5 minutes of a big room track. just the drops.
Right. Right, exactly. And like also too, like I mean, most of my tracks are like 6, 7 minutes long.
Mhm.
Kind of like my standard, honestly, for making like most tracks. They tend to go like pretty long.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, like most house and techno tracks, anyways. These most techno tracks are like 7 to 8 minutes long. So I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, that like works for me.
Yeah. I mean, you're a long man, but it's not the length of the track; it's about how it sounds together. Just putting it out there, man.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the ebb and flows,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's how you use it. I
Emotion.
mean, how it sounds. That's what I meant. Now your third track.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, sorry. Now you're like, if you do you have a third artist in mind that has helped you that you discovered recently that has helped shape your sound, or just anybody in general?
Probably Jay Lumen,
Mm-hmm.
which is another techno artist. Um, just every track he makes is just like a ridiculously crazy good, like 303 track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like just the acid lines are like squelching. It's like super hard techno. The kicks like in your face. The bass is like just monstrous and subby. Um,
Is it kind of like Amelia Lens style?
yeah, or like Umek, that
Oh,
just like
legend.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say those are the three artists, like right there.
How did you discover the label that picked up your last track, or did they discover you, or did you discover them, and how did you pick them? How did this
Um,
come to be?
they're recommended to me by Fisher. So no. Um,
You,
but
you're fishing the track around to see who picked it up.
yeah, yeah, totally. Um, so I just like go to this website called labelbase, I think .net, and I literally just set the filter to like tech house, and it's basically just a repository of a bunch of different labels. And so I have a document template that's just like a very generic message that I can send out to pretty much like anyone and make like maybe like one modification. Um, and it just has like the link to my track and my EP. Um, and I just like send that out to like hella people, and just like see who responds. Honestly,
You got to put in the
um,
work, right?
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
mean, I
you
emailed,
you were hungry.
yeah, I emailed like I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 labels, something like that. And I think out of all of them, like maybe nine or 10 of them, maybe 11 of them got back to me. And out of those, like 11, there was like two or three maybe that wanted to sign it. Um, and I out of the three, I just went for the biggest one, pretty much. So and that was DTL. So
Damn, that sounds like a stressful adventure to try to get that track signed, man.
I mean, like, yeah, like it's like you send out all these like demos, or you send out a demo in hella different emails to hella different labels, and it's like a couple days go by, it's like nothing. Then like a week and a half goes by, and I'm like, oh fuck, like everyone hates me, like I'm gonna never release this shit, and I'm just like I'm running out of labels on this website. I'm like I need to find more labels. I'm like on Instagram, like trying to find like more labels and follow them and be like, all right, what kind of music they do, and then eventually like you start getting like responses,
Hmm.
and then it'll be like rejection, and then someone will be like, this is sick, rejection, and then we'll be like, yeah, we'll sign this. and then rejection, and they'll be like, yeah, we'll sign this to you. And then you're like, okay. So then you see all the options you get after like 3 weeks or something, and you're like, all right, which one do I want to go with? Which is always a cool thing. And like you just look in, and I mean, for me, I pretty much just go with like what's going to be the best label like for me and for the track. And I'm super happy like with DTL, because I think like, when I was listening to their tracks and what they already have, it's definitely falls in line with what the track is, which is like a hard hitting, like dark tech house track, and they release like house, like tech house, like and techno, they do both. So,
Damn. Do it all, baby. Like the one-stop shop target of underground. I'm just running out of fucking names here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's like it's been cool too, because of this, it's been my most successful track to date. It's got like it's gotten like great responses thus far on like Spotify, and like great responses kind of like locally, like here, and it's given me like opportunities to like labels have like reached out to me, and they're just like, hey, like, send us a track, we'll release it, we want to work with you, which is cool,
Hey,
to have that feeling where it's like,
it's fucking sick, bro. You're legit a real DJ now. You're not just a
yeah,
MacBook owner, right?
yeah, I can, maybe, who knows, maybe 2022 is the year when I fall as my 1099 as a DJ, as a producer.
Shit. For you kids who don't know what 1099 is, it's for an independent contractor to make money, or it's basically how the government takes your money. But
Yeah, for being
yeah.
an independent contractor.
All right. Anything we should look out for? Any news about JustJovani?
Yeah, well, I'm playing I'm playing F8 tonight. But
People
I
are
mean,
probably
this will
aren't going
be
to see it in
released.
time, but
Yeah. Playing F8 the following week, and playing Halcyon on the 22nd. So if you're in San Francisco, please come to F8. Or the Halcyon's going to be Halcyon's first day party since the pandemic. Chris Stucci is going to be playing, so it's going to be a good one.
yeah.
And then I'm opening.
So yeah, I'll get all the links, so you can send me the links. I can't get you on guest list. Whoever's trying to get on guest list through me, but hope you guys can make it. Yeah. All right. And I guess that's all the time that we have today. Thank you so much for sitting down with me, Jovani. Hopefully we can do this again. Maybe dive more into. I want to hear some stories of the underground DJ struggling, trying to make it, slaying off groupies. Stories. I want to hear that. The dirty. I want to hear the dirty, dude. The grimiest stories from the crack house of Oakland to the fucking back room of Monarch, dude. I want to hear it all. But I guess we will save that for next time.
Yeah.
Have fun tonight.
To be continued.
To be continued. And if you liked this video or enjoyed our conversation, give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment. I hate saying this bullshit, so just do it, man. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Later.